So in this example, we have x, which is a number, right, divided by 3, take away 13 equals 7. What do you think the first step would be here? Our main goal, as we've been doing, is to isolate the variable to solve for the unknown. We want to know what x is equal to at the very end, right? So as you said, we want to get rid of this minus 13. Opposite of subtracting 13 is adding 13. That's how we get rid of it. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So we're going to add 13 to the right side. So what do I have on my left side?
X divided by 3.
Good. X divided by 3 equals 7 plus 13. Can you simplify that?
Equals 20.
Good. Equals 20. Okay, so now that we have x divided by 3, you're always doing the opposite operation. So just like here we had subtract and we added to remove it, if I multiply by 3, then we know that this is actually going to cancel out. The reason is because 3, how would I write that as a fraction? 3 over...
3 over 1.
Good. Times, I'm just writing this over here so you can see it better. Okay, so if I multiply by 3, well, what's 3 times x?
3x.
Good. What's 1 times 3?
3.
Good. What happens? What's 3 divided by 3? 1, right? If I write 1x or if I just write x, it's the same thing. If you multiply anything by 1, that number won't change, right? 5 times 1 is 5, 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, so if we multiply by 3, you're removing the fraction, basically. You're undoing the operation. What do I have to do to the right side?
You have to multiply.
Good. We have to multiply by 3. We know the opposite of division is multiplication. So 20 times 3 is
60.
60. So x is equal to 60. We're going to check our answer to make sure that made sense. Check, I want you to write it down. So the original question was x divided by 3 minus 13 equals 7. Well, according to our answer, x is equal to, what do we say, 60? Okay, so now where we see the x, I'm going to replace that with my answer because I want to see if it's right. 60 divided by 3 minus 13 equals 7. Okay, so now we're just going to simplify this to see if it equals, if it balances. So what's 60 divided by 3?
20.
Good. 20 minus 13 equals 7. Well, what's 20 minus 13?
7.
Good. 7. Left side is 7. Right side is 7. Good. So this is correct. Our answer has to be right. When you're solving an equation that involves fractions, it's always helpful to get rid of the fraction first, because it's easier to solve something that doesn't involve a fraction. So our fraction is divided by 4, right? That's what the fraction means. It means divided by 4. What's the opposite of dividing by 4?
Multiplying by 4.
So if I multiply this side by 4, I'm getting rid of the fraction. What should I do to the right side now that I'm...
You have to multiply by 4.
Good. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So I've actually just gotten rid of the fraction. Now this is very simple. What am I left with on the left side?
X plus 3
Yep. Equals?
equals 2.
2 times 4?
Oh, equals 8.
Good.
So then it would be 8 minus 3.
Good. X equals 8 minus 3, because the opposite of plus 3 is take away 3. And 8 take away 3 is?
5.
Good. So the answer is x equals 5. If you notice in this next question, every fraction has a different what? What is this called?
Different
Denominator. Good. So we can't multiply. It would. Well, we could. It would take a very long time if I multiplied the fractions by their denominator, because if I multiply this by 2 to get rid of it, I have to multiply everything by 2. Whatever you do to one term, you have to do to another term. So that might actually take a long time, because then you would have to do that for every single term. It would be a lot of steps. So one quicker way to do this is to find a common denominator. Okay? If we find a common denominator, then whatever the denominator is, you can multiply it to get rid of it, right? Because the opposite of division, if you find the denominator, would be to multiply. Okay, so what's a common denominator? we found that the lowest common denominator is 12. So I need to multiply 2 times what to get 12?
6.
Good. And I also have to multiply the numerator, don't forget. 4 times 3.
3.
3 times
4.
good, and 6 times
2.
good. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this with common denominators. Okay, so I rewrote the question with common denominators. We just found equivalent fractions. Well, now everything says divided by 12, right? The opposite of dividing something by 12 would be to multiply it by 12. If I multiply it by the denominator, I'm removing the fraction, okay? So whatever we do to one term, we have to do to every term. And because the denominators are all the same, it will cancel everything out, right? So now we're going to rewrite the equation. We have 6x minus what?
6x minus 3
Yep, equals.
equals 4x plus 2.
Good. Now does this look way easier to solve?
Yes.
What you had. So we want to put all our variables terms together. So 6x on the right side is positive 4. On the left side it becomes minus 4. Right side it's plus 2. Take away 3. And then the negative 3. So subtract 3 becomes plus 3. I made a mistake there too. 6x take away 4x. Is 2x, and then 2 plus 3 is 5. Now we have to divide both sides by 2. That cancels out. X is equal to, what's 5 divided by 2 as a decimal?
2.5.
Good. 2.5. Okay.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.